Hi, my name's Grace and this is my story. Yeah, growing up in Northern Ireland was fun, but at times it was really challenging as well. I didn't have a great relationship with my mum, and eventually it turned out that my father became an alcoholic as well. I used to run to my bedroom and God was very much my sanctuary, so I would spend so much time in there praying to him. It got to a point whenever I was about 18 and I just kind of had enough and I couldn't handle it anymore, and my dad's drinking got a lot worse. So I left home and came to England. So I managed to put myself through university. I think at one point I had 3 jobs. It was really at that point whenever I sort of started living a really reckless lifestyle, and the core of that was really not knowing my worth or my value. Although that said, I would never have denied my relationship with God. I always had this thing about New York, I could never understand it. And so I got the opportunity whenever I was 25 to go there and work. I think men were always my downfall. I always looked to a man to give me a source of love because I felt like I hadn't received that from my parents. And you know, that just led to me having a lot of relationships. And it was really, I guess in New York where I really feel like God started calling me back and was like, alright sweetheart, you know, I want you to come back to me, you cannot continue living like this. So I got back to London and I found Hillsong. I was still very hurt and still very broken from my past. I met this guy and I ended up living with him for a few years. It really was not a healthy relationship, and I got to a point where I was completely broken, and I just hit a point one day when I almost felt suicidal, and I heard a thud outside. So I went outside the front door and I seen that there was an old man lying on the floor. So I kind of picked him up and I was bringing him into the house, and whenever I got him through the front door I noticed actually he was a tramp, and we sat and we chatted, and at the end of the evening he turned around and he went, "Thank you so much for looking after me." And you know, I actually was the one who turned around to him and went, "No, you don't understand how I'm feeling right now. It's you who've really blessed me." After he left, I stood and I thought to myself, gosh, I'm really not a bad person. I shouldn't be living this way. And I very clearly heard God almost shout from heaven, "No, you're my daughter and I want you back." And a few months later, I actually was home for Christmas, and I was sitting in the living room one day and my mum walked past and she sort of stopped and she looked at me. She told me for the first time that she loved me. I remember God said to me, he went, "Okay, I want you to go back home to Belfast and I want you to spend a few months there because we're going to sort things out." He helped me forgive my mum and forgive my dad as well. Although that was the most difficult point in my life, I would do it all over again. There's a few things I've really learnt in my life that I would just love other people to get. Spending time, you know, praying to God, pouring my heart out before him, letting him love me, and by, you know, getting to know the Holy Spirit. I know for a fact that the only way we have peace and joy in our lives is because of Jesus, and I know that my future is going to be bright, and I'm just walking forward into whatever destiny that he has for me.